of it.
Okay. Do I need a laptop for this? Because I did not bring it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So that PGI project that grew up with?
I'm waiting to print out the packets until I know how many people are gonna be here, so it's kind of.
I probably should.
It's like dark in here for some reason.
Back.
Is it?
It is, but you know, it's my eyes too.
I had my sunglasses on earlier. I'm walking around. I was in the bathroom. I was like, geez, it's dark in here. I was like, oh God, I have my sunglasses on. And I put my regular glasses on and nothing's different.
I still have to get my cataract surgery.
It's rock and roll, unfortunately.
I'm live right now, so people can just kind of like check us out. Terrence. Okay, I did.
Stapler remover. Stapler.
So I lost my glasses again, right?
Oh, no.
A mess.
Want to wear mine?
They bling? They got bling on?
No.
Yeah, seriously, I lost like 2 pairs of glasses.
They don't, but they have a little buckle on the side. It won't bother you any, but I think you could use them.
I'll
One of them ropes on the back.
What? Yeah, he does, yeah.
just might not recognize everybody in that row.
Are they just reading glasses?
No, I got like astigmatism, they're,
Oh, everybody, everything,
they're,
yeah.
what do you call it, progressive lenses?
I have progressive lens. Oh, no, wait. No, progressive is when they get darker, right?
No, it's where they're like bifocals.
Oh, yeah, mine are. Those are mine, yeah. Transition is the one that changes. Yeah. Old eyes, that's what we have, old eyes.
Nice for a long time.
Light something. We should keep a basket full of different numbers, readers in the front. People always ask.
Hey, was like, what's going on? Did you call me back again? It starts all over. So I think it's 60 days. It's off the market for 60 days. It starts over all over.
Thank you. I'll keep you up to forward. This is the one that we need to look at. I like people who get places early.
I'm not sure I have to look into it.
I'm always everywhere early.
It's a
curse.
Check out my
Leave
makeup.
for now. I'll try to get back downstairs.
Just make sure if anything hangs up my nose, you just let me know.
Okay. Are we gonna talk about difficult people with listing appointments?
It depends on time. So one thing that most people don't know is I actually am training to be considered to be a KWU instructor. So to do that, I've already taken the first step,
Can you double check on
and
for me though?
train the
Looks like-
trainer advanced workshop 2 weeks ago now. It'll be 2 weeks on Friday. And this is the material that I did. So I had to actually condense a lot of this stuff into a 20-minute
Presentation. Wow.
Yeah. So I was going to be like an FES instructor, which y'all know about that, right? Florida Educational Services is Holly Prescott. So her husband, John, is the one that actually did the whole fold revamp and stuff. So I actually had
I'm looking at.
got a phone call from Holly inviting me to train the trainer advanced. And so I was there with 14 other like big mega agents just trying.
Wow.
So what I'm doing is trying to present a little bit more in the marketplace and market center. And then asking for evaluations at the end. So at least 4, 5, 8. What's up, Terrence? You feeling okay?
Yeah, I've got, I'll have to leave at 3, but
Okay. Well, so what we're gonna do is like, there's 7 steps to this cycle. We're only gonna really touch very, very briefly on step 1 and 2, which is lead conversion and then pre-listing. The bulk of it is going to be the listing consultation when you're actually sitting there in person with the seller. And then Jim's gonna kind of go over the listing agreement. And we'll just kind of figure out,
Strong
depending on how many
points.
people are in here and certain questions and stuff. It's going to be very structured, because I'm just trying to stick with the material that KWU wants us to put out there. I know you've been in classes before with Brett and I,
Yeah,
where we can go off topic and have some fun.
yeah. Brett always says squirrel to me.
I'll just be like, wait, do you watch Friends?
Yes.
That is streaming
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I'm still not, I'm gonna wait until 2 o'clock because whoever might be coming. So,
Sit down.
we'll have a little bit of role play, which will be fun. And,
Would you,
I'm gonna give it until 2 o'clock.
so one thing I like to ask people is there anything specific that you want to get out of the class today?
Pricing. On the listing, yeah,
I want a listing on a listing class.
agreeing on the pricing.
Well,
That's gonna be something.
you're gonna have to work on that.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing to list, I live on a boat.
You still on a boat?
Yeah, I'm still on a boat.
All right.
He likes it that way.
Or how about any challenges you guys have run into? I heard you say difficult customers, difficult sellers, so would you?
Seller, yeah.
What did Amanda say about that?
Oh, we didn't talk about that yet.
Anything else?
No, difficult seller should actually.
Cover it.
Um,
Specifically the pricing on that, because they think their pricing should be so much higher. And you explain to them why this is what the market says, this is what your CMA looks like. This is your kind of a range based on what's selling. This is your,
maybe setting price.
yeah,
How about presented offers? Like, to your seller, like, you guys, do you have any trouble with that? Maybe Jake, let's go.
You're good. Good?
Yeah.
Is it 2 o'clock for you?
Yep. I'll just kind of
Gotcha.
ask him if there's anything anybody specifically wants to cover. Just to make sure.
All right, good.
Do you guys have any trouble presenting offers, especially if it's a low ball offer? I mean, how do you overcome that?
I tell them at the listing table, if the low offer comes in, if you're gonna be mad at somebody, be mad at the people that came into your house and did not give an offer. And you can always counter back at full price and let them counter the second time, because the second time they counter, you're gonna know whether they're fishing, if it's a low ball offer, let's say they come in 100,000, whatever, and they only come up $5 more grand, then it's like, hey, move on.
Yeah.
But the second time, all of a sudden the offer is for 30,000 more, and it's ballpark, and it's like,
yeah.
well, they're just
And you know pretty quick.
give them, so
So you're setting the expectations.
set the expectations at the listing table. Yeah.
Yeah. They can either accept or reject it.
But don't get
or
mad.
counter.
Just kind of throw that. I
Yeah,
like to
because they're knocking at the
Tell them, don't get
door. They're interested.
be happy that gave you an offer.
Did you get that from Nancy?
Yep,
What's that?
They're interested, knocking at the door.
She always tells
That's
us,
all.
says, don't be surprised if your first offer is low.
They're
They're
testing the
just knocking
water.
at the door to let you know they're there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna encourage you, giving me a counter offer regardless of how
yeah. Plus,
low you
plus,
think the offer is.
plus you want to maybe bring up that usually the first offer, negotiation is many times, according to NAR, I don't know, is the best chance to get the most money.
I've seen it happen, yes, where people have tried to be too reluctant to take the first offer. Not saying you gotta take the very first offer, but be willing to negotiate that offer completely because they
Yeah.
think that there's gonna be plenty of other people out there.
I have a situation right now, I just listed, I went in with 490 to 510 comps, I was just telling her. And I was up against another agent that was 530 to 540, but said your house should sell around 500. Well, anyway, I got the listing, but it took a while to get, and so when I went to the listing table, they wanted to go higher, I guess because of this other agent, so it was gonna be 525, listed for 525, and I'm like, and I gave a 510 for high, but I was like, okay, that's what it's gonna be. So when I got there, all of a sudden it's like, well, let's try 535. So here we are at 535, we're on day 4.
So, hold on, stop real quick. When a seller says, well, let's try, okay, so what you're telling me is that you already know that trying means that we're not gonna be able to accomplish it, so let's not try, let's do.
Yeah.
And let's
Right.
do.
Yeah, I didn't pull that line out, okay?
okay?
So, I mean, we had a great showing first day, and the agent told me that very possibly we might get an offer the next day. It never really came in. Her buyers are a little reluctant because it's the first day and they think they're gonna have to come to full price. And maybe they're looking at the comps and realizing, so they haven't done anything. And then I got a buyer. And he's gonna come in at 500 cash, possibly. You know, it's my comps, 500 cash, and I don't think they're gonna take it. So I've been in there
They are crazy.
redoing the comps and everything, because it was 4 months ago when I gave them the comps, 4 or 5 months ago, and I gave them new comps today. And you know what? I got an email, what prompted this? They're like, you know what I mean? Why are you sending us this?
So we should be all sending updated market outs.
And I told her, I said, you know what? When a time, you know, I said, it's been 4 months since I gave you, 4 or 5 months since I gave you the last comps. Just a fresh set of comps. I'll do that every once in a while for different sellers.
Residential, is I'd set my seller up in the MLS on a search as if they were a buyer in their house. And then, once a month or at the minimum every other month, I do an updated CMA, because what I started to notice was they were paying more attention to the stuff that made their house look more valuable than the ones that maybe took some value away from their house. So then you had to ground it up, and I would go back to them and I would say, okay, so remember, these were the houses that we used when we first started. So of these 5 houses that were for sale, when we listed your house, 2 of them are under contract, 1 of them closed. So we probably helped sell those 3 houses.
Mhm.
And especially if you want to get price reduction, right? So we need to be higher up on this list so we don't keep selling everybody else's house. And, you know, and then I go to the comps that were pending at the time and I'd say, you know, this is what they closed for. So if an appraiser comes, these are likely to be some of the comps that the appraiser's going to use. So
Yeah.
you know, what's that telling us about the price on your house?
Yeah.
You know,
And that's always a good line to, what the appraiser's gonna use.
Well, I'm glad y'all are here. Maybe one more minute or so.
You guys all know Amanda, right? Well, you probably don't know BJ. Or
Hi,
my
Myra.
Myra,
This is Myra.
right? Okay.
Myra?
Kurt.
That's my granddaughter's name.
All right, BJ, where you from?
Nice to meet you too.
You're now her new BFF.
You know Terrence, of course. Jerry, you know Terry.
Terrence, hey.
Lorelai's just printing out everything for us.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess we can get started and whoever might trickle in, we'll be able to pick up.
Myron?
So we were planning, we were going to start doing, this is kind of a change from the listing and contract classes we had been doing, where we were just kind of going through the forms and saying, okay, this is what you put in this box, this is what you put in this box. Because agents were saying they really rather understand the process.
Yeah.
Even more so than maybe the forms themselves. So then I asked Amanda to come in because she's a rock star lister. And, and actually she just got done,
Yeah.
teaching part of this course as part of the Train the Trainer series, so.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
So thank you all for being here. Yes, my name is Amanda. I have been here in the Market Center since we opened up our doors in 2010. Y'all know my husband or heard of him, Brett Bishop. I came here in 2010, joined his business that he had already been in since like 2003. And I quickly left in 2011 and I went back to insurance because I'm an insurance agent too. We were not just flowing well. And then I came back to real estate in 2015 and we've just kind of been going strong ever since. We still have our little hiccups. He's the technology person, the marketing guy on our team. I'm the listing specialist, and we also have Melissa, who is our buyer specialist. And we mentor 4 people now to try to help your business. So we're all about trying to help you all. So any questions would be great during class. If I cannot answer certain things for time constraints, please just hit me up afterwards. So I do have a granddaughter. Her name is Myra. My daughter, Lauren, you'll see her in the Punta Gorda office, and she was just here actually. Our son is Talon, who is 7. His middle name is Keller for Keller Williams. We love the company that much, Miss BJ, Miss Terry. So yeah, this is a new venture for me. We've always done some kind of training within the office, and I just kind of wanted to see what more I could do to help new agents, seasoned agents, whatever. So we are doing the listing consultation. As I mentioned before, there are 7 steps within the cycle, and we are really going to focus on this particular one. The first step is lead conversion. How do you get a lead? That's like a whole nother hour, 2-hour long class. The pre-listing and then the listing consultation. What you'll get out of this class is the confidence of what to do and say during the listing consultation. There are 5 steps to prepare yourself for the listing consultation. And then there's actually a 10-step model once you're sitting across from, hopefully, the seller, if they're here. We have a lot of snowbirds. But, a 10-step process to actually help get you to have them sign the listing agreement. And then Jim's going to actually go ahead and talk about that listing agreement later. You want me to pass this out? Yeah, that'd be great.
Did you wanna-
No, you won't be.
Okay, you wanna do it? Thank you.
So by a show of hands real quick, who has been in the business for like a month or less? Year or less?
These 2 guys.
How about not in the business yet?
Yeah, okay, so you're the winner.
I'm actually starting class Saturday.
Awesome.
Myra just passed yesterday or today?
Yay!
Saturday.
Wonderful. Now, BJ,
Yes.
right? Even if you're not set up with the board or anything yet, keep on getting contacts, add to your database.
Sure.
And once you can hit the ground running, you'll already have that nice base of people to get in touch with. 3 years or less? 5? How many years?
4,
4. Kirk, how many years?
6.
100.
Terry, you were up, you're new to Florida, but you were an agent up north. right?
5 years ago, I was with Cole Banker.
Awesome. Well, it's always changing.
This is night and day different. Like, when you begin.
Yeah.
Different company.
Is anybody working with a seller right now or going to be working on a listing appointment soon?
Yeah,
Okay.
same couple. They want to buy a house, but I found out they have to sell their house. And then they have a little baggage with that house sale too.
Are you being considered for the listing agent?
Yes.
Okay. What are the roadblocks right now?
The biggest one is not the buying of the house. It's his other house. 2 years old. bought it new, so he thought, and there's a glitch and he's looking for someone to assign blame to because there was a problem with the tax base, the amount of his tax that he had been paying for 2 years. All of a sudden, the county is saying, oh, by the way, you have back taxes you owe. And here's what we're assessing you an additional monies, which he can't afford, and now he's aggravated, and he said it's just adding insult to injury, he didn't like the neighborhood anyway, and he had some issues with the builder, so he wants to unload his house.
Mhm.
So, but he wants to buy another one.
Well, hopefully, some of the information that we go over today will
Yeah.
be helpful with that. All right, so there are 5 different ways to actually get prepared for your listing consultation. The very first one is you have to know your scripts. You have to know what you're going to say with your seller. Who practices their scripts here daily? Weekly. Bi-weekly? Killing me. All right, so knowing your scripts, getting a script partner is really important. And what I would suggest is having a couple different ones. Is anybody here in Bold currently? Okay, it's not your first time, but is it your first time? Okay, that's one thing that the Bold instructors always mention. If you can have somebody from a different time zone, somebody with a different accent, whatever, and they'll actually give you different objections, and it'll put a little bit of flavor into your role play. So I love giving homework. What I would say is by tomorrow, find a script partner. I know you already have one for Bold. But for those that don't, I'll be your script partner. Okay, I'm looking at you.
I'm leaving town, sorry.
There's phone calls for that.
Oh, yeah, you wanna call me? Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
call
If you would really do that, I would love that.
Okay, we'll talk after class.
Okay.
All right. So the second thing that you have to do to prepare for your appointment is you have to know what's going on with the market. And this includes, we should be on page, by the way, 54, 56. If you can follow along with me. So knowing the market, the days on market, the inventory, what's going on in the neighborhood, all these things are factors that your seller is going to ask you, and they're certainly going to know what's been going on in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to come prepared. I actually just saw a quick CMA on the printer that you did. That was yours, right?
Yeah.
You're doing that for a seller?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Yeah, probably was mine. Did I get it?
I hope so.
Okay.
Cause you're
I think I got it.
You're gonna need it.
And number 3, to get prepared, the communication techniques that build rapport. So you're going to want to ask open-ended questions when you're talking with your seller. We tend to talk way too much and provide too much information. But when you're asking those open-ended questions, they are kind of forced to provide you with things to use to eventually be able to get them to sign that listing agreement and hire you as your agent, as their agent. Mirror and matching, I'm sure you know that in Bold as well. Does anybody not know what mirror and matching is? Don't be shy. Okay. So when you're on the phone with your seller or when you're in person with your seller, you want to sit the same way. Lean in if they're leaning in. You know, like that. The tone that they have. The different dialogues, dialects, things like that. That actually calms the seller.
Speech
You know,
rate,
So
that nature.
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So you're the seller, okay?
Okay.
I'm the agent. You're very soft-spoken right now. Would you feel comfortable with me if I said, are you gonna list your house with me today?
No.
Are you gonna list with me? No, of course not. So, you know, obviously you want to mirror and match your seller with that. We can kind of dive a little bit more into that later. Be a consultant, not just an agent. You want to come from contribution. You want them to know that we have about 1,400 agents in our board right now. Is that about right? What is it?
1,400.
1,400? 18?
14.
14. You would know. So you want to be the local expert. You want to be the one that they want to come to for information, for accurate information. You want to have a value proposition. You don't just sell real estate. You're actually giving something a little bit over and above that most agents don't do. right? And then number 5, build an appointment toolkit. What is that, Amanda? That is what you're bringing to your listing consultation. So what would that look like for some of you? What would you bring? Anybody?
Counts.
Comps? Yep, measuring tape?
Well, yeah. Got my handy.
How about the paperwork? The listing agreement? Are you
Yeah.
bringing actual
Seller's
paperwork or are you bringing,
disclosure.
okay?
Any
Contract.
any disclosures that I might need, you know? If it's a lead paint, you know, if the house is 1977, I'm bringing lead paint. Yeah.
So basically, when you come to the listing appointment, you are preparing to walk out with that listing agreement signed. And you want to show the seller that you are already prepared, you've done your homework, you've done your research, and they should hire you, right?
In other words, I just want to get an idea what you think about our house. And
Yes.
gone and done that, and then found out they really were expecting to basically do a listing presentation, and I've done that.
I bring everything.
Yeah.
I've never once not brought every single little thing. And so for my toolkit, what that includes is the tax roll information. Little things like that kind of mean, not a whole lot to us. The seller's actually like, oh, thank you, I haven't seen that before. Or, yeah, my tax bill should come in. It's great that you have this with you. I do bring the seller's disclosure. I bring my pre-listing packet, which, by the way, that is on KW Connect. If I'm not mistaken, just 2-3 weeks ago, they actually the listing packet, pre-listing packet, which I don't have. So I apologize. I can send one to all. It's because
At this point,
well, I'm actually in the middle of updating all my stats. So what they have are just pages that are already filled out where you can put your branding on there. And that's,
So just know, if I may say, just know your command, or when you get command, has a library of templates. And you will have a pre-listing package and a listing package that you can personalize and brand to yourself.
did I say connect or command?
You
I think I said
command.
connect.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
command.
command's our platform for those people that don't know what our platform is. It's just the coolest software platform in the world, that's all.
The 8x8s aren't working for some reason now. We have to talk about that later. The 8x8,
Yeah, it's my
it's still not working. I don't know why. So anyway,
pilot error.
okay, so now you actually have converted the lead. You have already done your pre-listing a little bit. And actually, we're gonna do a little bit of role play first.
Are we?
Well,
Yeah, we are.
I don't know where Lorelei stuffed this.
Yeah, we are.
You know what? How about we save that till later?
She got it.
No,
Is she Chris?
no, I got it.
I'll come and say hello.
Somewhere.
Okay.
I actually need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
This
copies.
is gonna be recorded, so that we record all our companies.
Just so you all know, this PowerPoint, the total package, 173 pages for the Win with Seller series, is on KW Connect.
Okay.
What we're going to try to do is break apart the entire class, which is an 8-hour class, so we can get more bodies in here and maybe not overload you for a whole day. Because that would be, I'd love to see y'all for 8 hours a day. I don't know if you could do it. Not with Bolt going on, maybe. I don't know. All right, so he's actually printing out the pre-listing questions. When you have converted a seller, they have agreed to an appointment with you. The first step before the actual consultation is confirming the appointment. And that's the sheet that Jim's going to pass around to you. Lots of things can happen. Call your seller the day before, the morning of the appointment, whenever a time is agreed upon by the two of you, and whichever contact method that you've already agreed on. Some people like text, some people like email, some people want a phone call. things can happen, life can happen. Personally, I actually had an appointment set up for last Monday, and the seller's mom got sick, so we had to cancel the appointment because of doctor's appointment that she had. So always confirm the appointment first, okay? See if their mindset has changed. You know, we all don't like to waste time. Maybe something that they just decided, Jim, you were saying earlier today, a lot of people are thinking about not putting their house on the market right now because they want to wait till after the holidays. Does anybody have a really great objection handler for that? Kirk?
Well, I show them the houses, I give them a 4-year market report, and I'll show them January, where all of a sudden 200-300 more houses come online, and I say,
Mhm.
you know, you have a lot less competition right now. And there's people right now shopping, and I can show them November, and, you know, these are good months to sell your house. Why are you waiting until 200 other people come on board in January? Now all of a sudden you got a lot more competition.
Isn't this slow season though?
No.
No, people actually come during the Christmas season and visit their families and do 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yep.
They're down, you know, they have plans to buy while they're here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they want to see inventory.
Absolutely.
And
That's
right
a
now,
common
they're back home in
misconception.
Pennsylvania, looking
Freezing.
online at houses. That they
Freezing.
wanna go look at when they get down there.
Mr. and Mrs. Seller, some of my best months have been during the holiday seasons. And what I suggest we do is, now that we're talking now, is let's get some pictures and photography of your home before the Christmas decorations go up, so we can sell it in the winter. And why, you know what, the fact of it is, everybody else is thinking the same way you are. I'm gonna wait till after the holidays. What if you there was less, like Kirk just said, there's less competition and more buyers, driving the price up, better opportunity.
And there's a lot of buyers that wanna close before the end of the year because they wanna get it off the homestead
Absolutely.
price.
Well, the one thing that you can also do is every single month, the second Tuesday, typically, every single month, we have our office meeting, and Jim always goes over the stats. You can look over the stats for the office. We consistently, every single month, have buy sides, sold sides, and we're always, well, we've been number 1 for quite a while.
Still number one,
Still number 1.
still number one.
Yeah, all right, so you're gonna see if their mindset has changed. Step 2 is actually, what's going on with your mindset? What do you do right before your listing consultation? To kind of pump yourself up before you actually get to the door. You have to have some kind of.
Yeah,
important thing.
I'll either listen to some Tool.
Love it.
He actually sends me text messages sometimes.
Or I'll just, you know, I'll put myself in the mindset before I walk into that door,
All right,
you know?
I might
Yeah.
be dating myself, but I'm good enough, I'm smart enough. God, only you would.
I
What's his
think
name,
I
Stuart?
think you have a Stuart Little.
Stuart,
I think it's Stuart.
I can't remember his last
Saturday
name.
Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to, when you're going up to the door, you want to make sure that you're confident, obviously. You know, if you have an air about yourself, that mirror and matching thing too, the seller is going to kind of feed off of that as well. So you want to go in with, you know, I got this. I'm walking out with a signed listing agreement. Why wouldn't you? Right?
Soon sale.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
do
in the
take
sale.
that little bold thing of, hey, it's 4 o'clock, and we had an appointment, it's 4 o'clock. We had an appointment at 4 o'clock, and as soon as they open the door, let them know that you're on time.
You're going ahead of me.
There you go.
But anyway.
We know what he's talking about though. All right, so we're on page 61, enter and tour. Before you actually enter and tour, before you get there on time, if it is 4 o'clock, yes, Kirk is correct. You know, hey, Mr. Seller, we had an appointment at 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I can't wait to list your house. Say that from the get-go. Before you actually knock on the door, what I would suggest is drive around the neighborhood. Give yourself a few extra minutes. You've already done your research beforehand, step 2 in preparing, knowing the inventory and everything. But, you know, just do a quick roundabout in the neighborhood. Your seller's going to know what's going on. Did you see that house down the street that's actually being built? Farmington, those couple houses. So you're gonna want to do that before you arrive on time. So you walk in the door and like I said, make sure you get there on time. Even if you're a couple minutes late, they might let you go through the entire spiel. What's one big thing that realtors are known for?
Talk too
Not
much.
being on time.
Oh, that, yeah.
So I've actually heard horror stories where agents have lost the listing after an hour-long presentation. The seller already has that mindset that they're not going to be working for me, so make sure that you're on time. Your toolkit, everything that you prepared to take the listing, you're going to take that and you're going to put it on the dining room table, the kitchen table. Why do we do that?
To establish where you're gonna have a meeting.
Exactly. I made a very big mistake in letting the seller, this was back in 2015, when I was getting back into real estate, I let them guide me to the couch. So after I toured the house, you're gonna naturally go back to where all your things are. So we went back to the couch and it was just way too casual. It was not a business transaction. I lost the listing. I didn't do anything different that I normally do, but I think that's the reason why. The question that I always get asked, and the people that are going through bold will probably be like, that's not what they say. Amanda, do you tour the house with the sellers? I do. Hopefully this doesn't get to John Prescott. So the reason that I tour the house with the sellers, there's two main reasons. The first, if I have a husband and a wife, one person primarily is, the bigger decision maker out of the two. So when I'm walking around, I establish who that is.
You're gonna find out, yeah.
And when we sit down, my laser focus is a little bit more on that person, be it the husband or the wife. Second reason that I walk around with the seller is because I'm constantly taking notes. One thing that I do not leave at the table is just a plain old notepad, blank notepad. And I write big, I write really sloppy. Brett will tell you he can't read half of the things that I write down. Sometimes I can't read it too, but I'm constantly taking notes. I'm asking them questions while we're walking around. Like the basic things like, any problems with the house? Why are you selling again? I already know all this information. Why are you selling again? How much are your taxes? How much do you owe on the house? What's your monthly FPL bill? Oh, your dog's name is XYZ. Because once I actually get back to the table, I already have a lot of information, which is actually steps 4 and 5. I'm already starting the conversation when we're walking around.
And the seller thinks you're paying attention to every detail, hanging on every word they're saying because they're
Right.
special.
I'm just building a relationship.
Yeah.
Yep. And then step 5, I'm just figuring out what their needs are. I use that an awful lot. Pain versus pleasure. BJ and Myra, I'm sure you're going to be in bold soon enough.
Yep.
You'll learn pain versus pleasure. So,
Pain versus pleasure.
so that's actually, sometimes you have to bring the pain that the seller has
Okay.
up to the top. So they actually get the pleasure of why they're selling. So one good example, a lot of sellers that I've worked with, they want to sell to go back up north to be with their grandkids. Okay, well, if we don't sell the house at the right price, then what will that do for you? Well, it means that I'm not gonna be able to see my grandkids. Okay, well, what will that ultimately do for you? Well, I might only get to see them during their birthdays or holidays. Now, how does that make you feel?
That's asking the whys.
Right,
Okay,
right,
I got it.
absolutely. So, one thing, you can start doing step 6, actually, even before you're in front of the seller. But make sure that you are continually doing this, and that's looking for commitment. You can ask certain questions. For this scenario, we're back at the kitchen table, just say. You can ask certain questions like, so when we are under contract, Mr. Seller, are you going to entertain a certain type of loan? Do you want to take an as-is contract or a general repairs contract? So they're going to answer you one of 2 ways. Well, I didn't say I was going to list with you today. Okay, so you're checking for commitment with that. Or they're gonna answer you the way that you really want to hear, well, what's the general repairs and what's the as-is contract? What's the difference? So you kind of already have an idea that they're gonna want to work with you. We have a real quick exercise, bless you.
Let's see.
On the bottom of page 66. This is a pen to paper moment. You all have a pen. Just take a minute or two and write down some positive signs or some negative signs of commitment from your seller. And we'll talk about it. Come from experience.
How, you want positive signs from my
So like when I,
example?
so an example, while I'm talking to the seller, when we're under contract, Mr. Seller, what type of contract are you going to entertain? An as-is contract or a general repairs contract? Or how often, well, I'll give you a couple. How often would you like me to communicate with you once we're listed? Those would be positive signs.
So you let them kind of make that choice instead of telling them how you do it? Or
Yeah.
what you normally do? Really? Surprised.
Well, I'm the one that's asking the questions because I want to know what their preference is. It's typically the same answer. I want you to contact me once a week. But like, what are you thinking?
Well, I just think, you know how sometimes sellers like, the minute that a showing takes place, they expect you to have feedback, like the minute they walk
We
out the
don't.
door.
Yeah,
Right, so what if they said that, well, I want you to contact me within,
Well, I give them my experience. I always ask the question because I'm not going to assume anything. I want them to know and to feel that whatever they're telling me is important because it is important to them. And then I'll let them know, well, you know, I normally won't get feedback right away, or I won't have some information right after the open house. How about we do this? Would you like to consider this? And typically, they always agree with me. Yeah. So a negative sign, I didn't like you as soon as you walked in the door, or whatever. Or Keller Williams, you know, I've had this before. I didn't realize you were with Keller Williams. I don't want to work with Keller Williams. I have had that before.
So are you looking for positive versus negative responses? Are you looking for
I'm
body
looking,
language?
I'm looking for both because so if we're in this like step 6 of 10, let me rewind for a second. I would love to walk in the door and when I first say, I can't wait to list your house with you. I would love for them to be like, okay, let's go to the kitchen table right now, whatever price, and I'll sign right now. Doesn't happen. I think maybe once or twice that's happened to me. But throughout the listing consultation, I'm looking for the sense of commitment because if I have somebody half an hour in, right after I toured the house, they want to go ahead and list with me, I'm just gonna go ahead and get the listing agreement signed right then and there, and I don't really have to worry about all these next steps, which the next step is one of the favorites. Handling objections. 99.9% of the time, you're gonna have an objection. So what would that normally look like for one of you? An objection from a seller?
well, I have other agents we want to interview first.
Okay.
That's one of them. Or we're not sure when we want to put the house on the market yet. We want to know what it's worth.
What's one of the biggest ones right now? Has been always.
Season. Wait till season. Oh, wait till season.
Yep. Thinking one specific one.
Price?
Price going up? Value going up?
So close.
Waiting on value.
Wait till the market gets better.
It's the big C.
Commission.
What is it?
Commission.
What's your commission?
What's yours?
Yeah, I would get that question. Most of the sellers that I work with, about 99% of them really, are from expireds. When I started back in 2010, we took bold right away. Actually, Jim was on my team. We were the crazy 8s because there were 8 of us. And yeah, That was the fun one when we actually had, you know, our chant, our song, we had a poster. It was fun.
Amanda was killing it.
And then I had to get out because I was going to tell my husband, I love you so much. Really watching. But yeah, we took Bold right away in Sarasota, and I just started this with the scripts. Back in the day, they actually, I'll have to show you. They actually printed it out for us. And so I've got like a stack of scripts. And I went to the back room. We had our temporary office in Fort Charlotte where the bingo hall is. I go into the back room with no lights on because I did not like people listening to me on the phone. I still to this day will not make phone calls in front of my husband. I know it's weird. Yeah, working with expires is just something that I've always done. And what I get now with a lot of people on the phone, I don't want to make an appointment with you. What's your commission? And we have a couple of agents in town that actually discount their commission because the sellers obviously want the most money in their pocket. And Mr. David Heyer actually told me something really fantastic. I want to say a couple of months ago that I use now. You know, price only matters in the absence of value. There are a lot of different objection handlers when it comes to commission. What I would suggest is if you're in that moment with the seller on the phone and they're like, well, how much do you charge for your commission? You know, we have a sliding scale. And we can talk about that when I come over. Would 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock be better? And then with working on the scripts, because everyone's going to have a script partner, you'll be able to handle that objection a little bit better.
One of the things that we talked about in Bold with respect to that is letting your seller know that people that are going to negotiate commission, if they're negotiating with their money, what are they going to do with your
That's a good
money?
I have a question.
There's a lot of.
Do you ever negotiate your commission?
So when I am sitting across from a seller, excuse me, it's 6% all day long. But I will tell you, Mr. Seller, what that includes is I have a 15-step marketing plan. We have the drone, we have the Matterport, we have a huge value proposition. So when I'm actually sitting down with the seller, I let them see everything that we're going to provide to them. But then I also have to put me to work at 6%. But 100% of nothing is nothing. Let's get an offer on the table. And then you have a bottom line. We'll figure out something if we have to. I mean, we have cut our commission when we have an offer on the table, or we've included something for our listings before we bought fans, a lot of sweat equity, little things like that.
Can I tell you my favorite?
Mhm.
Yep. So, you know, when you say when you got your commission, do you negotiate your commission? I never negotiate my commission, but I always negotiate the other. We can negotiate the other agent's commission. What do you mean by that? So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my commission is 3%. Notice I didn't say 6. My commission is 3%. Now we just have to determine what we're going to pay the other agent. And you'd be surprised how many times they'll say, well, what do you mean? Because when we charge 5 or 6 or 7%, they think we're getting it all.
Yeah, sure.
And when's the last time you did a transaction when you got it all? It's rare.
Yeah.
You usually share the commission with somebody else, right, Kirk?
Right, but I'm working on that deal right now.
So I actually,
You don't want to share.
our buyer's agent, I cannot remember who she heard this from, and I have not vocalized this script, so hopefully I get it right.
Yeah.
She mentioned that, yes, you know, it's half of the 6%, so that's my 3%. So my 3% goes towards my marketing. I have to get paid, and then for myself and my family, and then I also have to pay my broker. So out of those 3 things, myself and my family, my broker, which I can't get around, and marketing. If you want me to cut commission, what's the first thing that I'm going to actually
Well,
cut?
Mr. Taxman too.
I'm going to cut my marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get less.
So what's that actually going to
Sure.
do for you, Mr. Seller?
And you don't want to give away your money, so you're not gonna give away theirs.
Because it's my family.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
You guys are doing okay. The average commission for this agency is we're averaging about 2.8% per side. We're not protecting that golden apple of 3%, but we're at 2.8 on average, our agents,
Which is good.
which is good.
Yeah.
You don't want to get down to 2.7, 2.6, 2.5, no.
Yeah.
It's hard to go back.
Well, Kurt wants 7%.
Do it, man, all day long. Get that.
I do-
Am I wrong, but like back in 2002 or, I can't remember the year, weren't there some agents charging 7 and 8%?
Oh, yeah, when I started Thomas, you didn't come back with a 7% commission, he'd send you back out.
Take you to the back room. Well, I like to get out of my habit because I do go in a lot with 5.5. And then I mentioned something about, to go lower, I talk about, well, I usually do that with my second, if somebody's bought 2-3 homes
Right.
for me,
We've done that.
I'll do a 5%, but no, I don't go there.
I actually had one seller who wanted me to do it for 5.5%. And he wanted me to offer the buyer's agent more, like 3.5% and me only 2%.
Yeah.
I sat there for a good 30, 40 minutes. And I was like, so what you're telling me is I'm actually putting all my marketing into this from the get-go. I could actually find the buyer. I'm paying for this, that, and the other. And you want me to actually take less at the end of the day? And it took a little while. So one thing that I've learned in my years of doing this, you have to know what value that you're bringing. And I know it might be a little bit difficult or uneasy for newer agents. Get that confidence, get that script partner, and then, be comfortable in showing the seller. You can say no too. You know what? I just don't think this is gonna work.
What's the most powerful script when somebody asks you to lower your commission?
No,
No.
Yeah.
And then
and then
silence.
shut up.
Take away.
Yep.
They're gonna wanna know why you're saying no.
That's just what you
Why
need
not?
to know. And
That's showing value
wait,
right there.
because the first person to talk is losing.
That's right.
We have to get $5 from them, by the way, somebody remind me.
Yeah.
Just no. Yeah. And then, I've actually only used that once or twice. I used to tell the seller every single objection handler, one after the other, which is so wrong. Yeah, we can dive into that a little bit
Didn't I
more.
tell you how cool I am? That's why I like this.
I know, right? I actually want to play a game. Is everybody up for a game?
Sure.
Okay, you have to move. Seriously, this side. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3,
The
4.
boat's heavier on this side, man.
We're listening.
Okay, so how do we learn? We learn by doing. This side of the room, you guys, just because you've been in the business for a while, you are going to be the agents. All right? You are going to be the seller. All right? I would love for every single person to contribute here. So for each of our sellers, think of a objection. And for our agents, the handler for it. All right?
So who's the agent? Is he the agent?
These are the agents.
Okay.
Y'all are the sellers.
Seller.
Who would like to go first? Seller. BJ. And then whoever would like to do the objection handler, just raise your hand real quick.
You don't even know what it is yet.
You don't even know what it is yet. All right, awesome. What would you say as an objection to an agent while you're looking to sell your house?
Thanks for coming, but you're starting out right now. This is the first time I've had somebody to talk to about this, but I'm not sure that I want to do business with you, so I've got a few questions for you.
Well, let me tell you that, at our office, we have 170 agents. We all work very closely together. And I can tell you right now that you're going to be taken care of. And any questions that don't have, I guarantee I'll go get the answers. Because I don't think anybody is going to have all the answers for you, whoever comes up to you. The key is, let me go get the answer for you if I don't have it.
I will be at the other end of the phone, always.
All right, so what was your objection again?
He
Yeah,
called me.
it's just starting out, looking, right? So I'm actually vetting,
Okay.
right?
Oh, I thought you were just saying I was a new agent.
That's what I
said.
thought you were saying.
Okay, I
little bit.
apologize. Yeah, so no, what I'm trying to do is, okay, so let's start this fresh, right? So thanks for coming. Just want you to know, happy that you're here. Definitely in the, mindset of selling my house. But I'm just starting out at this and I haven't talked to anyone else yet.
Gotcha.
So what I want to do is, want to hear what you have to say, but know that I'm going to be looking at other agencies as well.
Well, you know what? That's a great idea because I would recommend to you to interview 2-3 agents. That's a good move. And I want to ask you, what is your time frame for going through this process? When do you want to select an agent?
Yeah, so we're just now still thinking about this. We're not sure. We're in the mindset of possibly buying or possibly selling our house, but I
Okay.
definitely want to know what
Okay.
value you bring.
Well, you know what? I would love to come over to your house and meet you. And I can bring some numbers, show you my average days on market for my listings. And, get a feel for your house. I can do some numbers without seeing your house. But you know what? It's not going to be as good as if I get over to see your house and we'll go from there. And then I certainly do understand you wanting to look at a few other agents. That's a smart thing to do. So when can I come over?
Okay, so that sounds fair enough. What do you do tomorrow?
All right. I'm at whatever time you want. I've got an open schedule as I'm looking right now,
Okay, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. I'll see you then.
Right,
Okay.
what I would add
So-
into that is,
You could call.
Remind me while you're
selling.
let's role play for a minute.
Okay.
BJ, we're on first name basis. I have no idea
Okay,
your last
go
name. Tell me again, why are you selling?
Yeah, right now our house that we're in is a little bit too big for where we're at. We have children, they've all moved out to college, and we want to kind of downsize, get something.
Oh, wow, how many kids?
I've got 3,
Boys, girls?
not both,
Okay, so
all ages,
all ages.
starting at 26.
All right, so are you looking to stay in the area then when we sell your house?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the house has been a little bit too big. What exactly are you looking for when you downsize?
So we're on waterfront now, maybe a smaller waterfront property, closer to the bay would be nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you need to use the proceeds from when we sell this house to buy your next property?
Not necessarily.
Okay,
I have
wonderful.
flexibility and some say so that I can actually purchase a house without selling the current house.
Now, would you like to have a property that's going to be big enough for when the kids come to visit as well?
Not necessarily.
Big enough to
Maybe-
come over
maybe
and not
additional
spend the
room
night?
that I can convert to a bedroom.
Wonderful.
You know.
Don't want to give them a closet.
Yeah. So the reason I ask those questions is because you want them to start thinking about what's going on with them personally and take it out of the property,
That's good.
okay?
Yeah, well, no, I like your approach of just keeping asking questions
Mhm.
too.
So you want to go in 3 questions deep. Why are you looking to sell? What will that do for you? And what will that ultimately do for you?
We go for the whys. Why this, why that?
And is there another, could you explain to me, tell me a little bit more about why you want to interview other agents?
And here's one thing
Yeah.
too. Here's one thing as well. If you're already, what I got from that, is it sounds like you're on the phone. If you are in person with the seller and you hopefully already went through your listing consultation, all the information, well, Mr. Seller, everything that I presented to you today, if you have any questions about it, first of all? Hopefully they say no, because you've already went through everything thoroughly. Well, aside from maybe wanting to interview a couple other agents, is there anything in my presentation that tells you that you wouldn't want to work with me? No, I'm just kind of curious. Can I ask you just an honest question? If you already have an appointment scheduled for this agent or that agent, I can call them and let them know that you already decided to work with me. So that is not an uncomfortable situation for you. And I can actually ask them to bring the buyer. How's that sound?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's.
I like that approach.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I would probably say, I'll give them first opportunity to bring a buyer.
Mhm.
That would be-
Yeah.
So, the other thing I
Just take, tell me.
My response had a few holes in it.
That's where script practice will help you.
Well, the other thing I think is important too, like you mentioned the office, that we have a different mode of operation. We also happen to bring more buyers to the area than anybody else in the area.
Mhm.
So, and number of market share in 4 years. So,
And that's where the monthly sheet
Comes in.
So let me explain that for a second. There's something that you aren't familiar with now, but it's something you'll be putting in your presentations. It's called LORE. It's the language of real estate. It literally compares our numbers to the rest of the market. And it's one of those things you can just pull out as a tool and say, Mr. Seller, I don't know if I showed you this, but our company is outperforming everybody, the entire MLS by X%. I don't understand why would you want to talk to anybody else?
So you're showing value of your own company right now.
And it's good to
versus-
see it in
you might
black
be
and white.
compared.
Yeah, even if you know your own numbers.
You gotta do what the others may not be doing, right, to set yourself apart,
can't be.
Can't be.
or can't be doing, right,
Particularly
right?
particularly if you don't have
I got
your
you.
own record kept, and you use the office. record.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was more difficult back in 2010 and 11 because people are like, Keller who? You know, we had a script for that, you know, we had to go back to, well, it's Gary Keller, 1987.
And one of the
Yeah,
things
they
that
pitch
dawned
the
on me
value.
recently is that, and I think, I was just looking the other day at the record, I mean, essentially Keller Williams is bigger than Coldwell Banker and Remax put together, from what I understand. As far as that, at least by the number agents nationwide. And that was out of the Realtor,
Mhm.
the National Realtor Board. And now, how many Keller Williams ads have you seen on TV?
No,
So we've done that without
right,
any advertising. Therefore, you know, the way we've done it is by selling.
That was
houses.
also a question
The way
somebody
we've done it
posed
is
to
by
me.
selling houses.
Like Keller Williams, I never even see their signs. And I said, well, because they're selling them usually pretty quickly. And you're not
There's no
noticing
national
them.
advertising, and it's not
no,
needed.
no. Well, and unlike some of those other brokerages out there, you know, there's no hidden fees and things to us as the agents, you know. I won't name any names, but
So I kind of like Kurt's approach right there because it shows value in that it's not just about him, it's the company behind him and all the resources that he can bring to bear on the
Right.
sale, right? Because that's the thing I would be looking at too is, all right, you know, so I'm not judging you personally.
Right.
You know, what resources do you have when you need, you know, I do have a question.
I like the way the manual was going.
Yeah.
Ask the question when they say, I'd like to interview more people. Tell me, what, in the ideal situation, what would the best agent bring to the table for you? What
There you
would
go.
make you feel most comfortable? And let them tell you.
You know, another thought, and you brought it up, is the broker fee.
Mhm.
Keller Williams doesn't charge a broker fee.
No.
But Coldwell Banker, yay,
yes.
right?
Well,
Depends on.
it depends on the
Sure.
individual brokerage. So what you can
You have
also
like a
do,
competitive, where Keller Williams, they have a list of all your values that you would pitch like that, over and above maybe the local competitors.
Well, aside from the report that they were talking about,
Right.
we do an agency standing every month. And maybe we've been at the top for
Right.
But like the point you're saying here with the brokers,
No,
You don't have
you don't want to
broker
get
fee
into,
versus-
you don't want to get into it.
nah, that's too much.
Over numbers, because then you're devaluing your product by saying we can do it cheap. Don't get into that.
So let me throw this in there too. Okay, Mr. Seller, you know, I have the listing agreement here. We've come to an agreement with every single thing that we did, the price, the listing, term. So let's just go ahead and do this. It's 4 pages. Let's sign it now. And if you still feel compelled to meet with agents B and C, you know, I already have the listing agreement. I'll take it back to my office. I'll kind of start doing some preliminary work. So when you get that phone call and you do decide to hire me, you're not wasting any time. And if for some reason you decide not to hire me, I'll just rip it up. Sound good?
smooth sailing.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, good.
All right, another objection. I'm having fun with this. Anybody want? Would you like to be a seller, John?
Sure.
You're on the seller side. This is the agent side.
Ah,
All right, give us an objection, please.
Well, your presentation looks very good and everything. I have my wife has a friend from work, and she's an agent. And she's, you know, been a good friend for a long time. So we're thinking about getting her into business. Not that I'm thinking about getting rid of business.
Anybody want to tackle that one?
Sounds like it's in the same boat as the first one. It's just,
It's just a different, yeah,
if everything that I presented to you today, fits or works with what you're trying to do, what's stopping you from working with me?
Well, just that I have, we have a relationship with that person, so, we want to give them, at least give them a crack at it.
Well, let me ask you, what if it doesn't go well? Is that gonna do anything to the relationship, or?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to offer a referral, and she can, if you're worried about hurting her feelings, I can offer a referral and give me the listing. And that way she's taken out of it and the friendship stays intact.
Do you really think it's a good idea to do business with a friend?
I would ask, you want to let them know that you're listening to them. Oh, okay, so you're thinking about having your property listed with your wife's coworker, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, how long has she been in business, do you know?
I don't know, pretty recent.
Pretty recent. Do you know what her sales are currently, or her office sales, or anything like that?
What office does she work?
Yeah, what office she works with? Do you know if she, well, you said your wife's coworker, and you mentioned to me earlier that your wife actually works at the hospital. So
Yeah.
if it's her coworker, is she really devoting full time to real estate?
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I guess not.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Part-time.
So if she's only doing that part time, does that mean she's only looking to sell your house part time, or do you want somebody like me that I do this 24/7?
She does surgery on me too. So.
Well, I tell you what, I can't do surgery on you. I can't do surgery on you, but this is financial surgery, and you want to make sure that you hire the right person that's going to be selling your home, right? Okay. You want to do one more? You want to move forward?
You run across a situation where it's, we spent all this time together, but listen, I'll think about it and you talk it over with my wife or my spouse.
Well,
What's your response to that, to go ahead and?
so when
the
you're
Same thing, let's go ahead and sign it now, then.
when you're on the phone with them, you're only talking to one person, but when you're making the appointment, are both of the decision makers going to be there when I come by?
Okay,
No? Okay, well, let's go ahead and figure out a time where you're both going to be there.
right, different situation. Okay, so you want to establish that right up front before you make the appointment, so that you don't end up.
Well, you want to reestablish it again when you get to the house. You should be willing to ask, hey, if we, come to an agreement today, are you guys ready to go ahead and get this listed today?
Yeah.
So that you've said that and they've agreed, and now they can't kind of take it back. Yeah, I would definitely say that at the beginning of the interview.
Well, and I've actually had situations where one of the parties was not on the deed, where they did not have to sign anything, but they were still the decision maker. So I asked the question, no matter what, are both the decision makers going to be there?
Or is there anybody else involved?
That
in
needs to be
this?
involved in it, yeah.
Especially in Florida, like it's homestead
Yeah.
state, so if it's the primary residence, even if it's just in the one spouse's name, the other spouse still has to agree to sell it, even though they're not on the deed.
Or it's a trust and there's a bunch of people.
After you telling us that the other day, I got the second signature on, and they were like, what the hell is that all about? Why am I in there? I was like, man, this is to see my A.
Terry, do you have a question?
Yeah, I actually had a question about that, because I know that we have an elderly population here, and you have people that might want to talk to a son or a daughter or something that's not here. How would you handle something like that?
So let me get this right. Your seller is an elderly person and they are on the deed, but they want to talk to like a son to see what they're, I've had that before. I've had to come back or had a conversation with that family member. I always extend, is it okay if I call them directly, or we can call them now? What's their email address? I'll send them everything I presented to you.
Somebody you do a phone consult, somebody else not here.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to do is let them know what my value is. I want to be put to work for you and whoever I need to speak with to make you feel confident. Because I do have a handful of people that I've had to reach out to, sisters and brothers, and I had 13 total at one point for one house.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
And then real quick, they actually, the it was a buy side. They actually, we were going to put an offer on finally on the house. And then on my way back to the office, I got a phone call because they drove past their perfect house, which was a FSBO for sale by owner. I still made it work. I still got paid. But yeah, you're gonna have some interesting situations like that. You know, when you're doing your, when you're preparing for your listing consultation, one part of your homework is checking to make sure. We have some people that pass away, or people that are kind of having some medical issues. Is your power of attorney already set up? You know, these are things that people don't really think about until after the fact. You know, there's trust. So it's just asking the questions.
And also, I think to go one step further, because I did some financial planning and estate planning for older people too. And one of the best ways to disarm that situation, even if you get blindsided by it, but if you know about it up front, it's even better. You can put that out there before they even say, I got to talk to my son. If you know there's a son involved or a daughter involved, you say, hey, listen, I'd love for you to make this decision today, but I don't want you to do this without first speaking to your son.
Sure.
If you're the one that puts that out there, that puts them in the situation, wow, he doesn't want to grab the deal. He wants to talk to my son first.
Yeah.
Rather than it being waiting for them to bring it up as an objection and then you address it. And it sounds like you're rushing them to get a hold of the son. So.
Awesome. Well, those are fun. I could do objections all day long. Oh, you're going to hear them all. And they're pretty much, you know, it's like a handful of them, 5 or 6 that are the same ones over and over and over again. You know, the commission, the price of the house, you want to wait a little while. You know, wouldn't it be better during season?
You know what it was for 3 months?
Don't want to list for 3 months.
How do you handle though the pricing situation? Not the commission, it's just they want to list it higher than you know, and then you tell them all the whys. Where do you go after that?
Okay, so I've already exhausted every single objection handler.
Yeah.
Then,
Well, I really
wanted to go ahead and sell your house, and we just can't come to an agreement together. So, you know, I'll keep you in mind if you want to go ahead and we can work together in the future. I've walked away from listings before. You just have to. You just know.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
It's going to get stale, and
Well,
you're going to have to beg for a price reduction, even if they know it. They're still
Right.
going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
Then they're going to think they gave the house away.
Your days on market are going to be affected.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd rather let you down now
I'd rather let you down
than
now.
disappoint you later.
Yeah.
And if I'm making you feel uncomfortable, it means I'm telling you the truth. So, all right, so step 8, set and exceed expectations. We're on page 69. So you make your presentation. You're going to hopefully come to an agreement with the seller in regards to pricing, in regards to the time frame. You want to do a 3-month agreement, 6-month agreement, 1 year. And if you come to an agreement with the seller, then awesome, you're in a win-win situation. They want to work with you, you want to work with them. Like we just said, you might not want to work with a seller. It's not all warm fuzzies with every single person that you're going to be sitting across from. I've actually felt really uncomfortable before where I walked into a house and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to leave. Because seriously, the husband was very irate. The wife had made the appointment. I knew that they were both going to be there. The previous agent, because I do work with primarily expireds, they had already had a bad experience with their previous agent. And he made me feel very uncomfortable. And I said, you know what, I don't even want to list your house. I felt uncomfortable here. I'm leaving. And I left.
Yeah, I had a similar, the husband was like, he was like circling the
Yes.
table
Mhm.
and then just announced loudly that he wants to die in the house.
Okay,
I'm like, okay.
that's.
This
Let
is,
me arrange that for you.
Yeah.
I think the wife was thinking that. Because then she started on like the reasons why they needed to move
Yeah,
because of all the things he physically couldn't do anymore around the
Right.
house and all that. I
Yeah.
felt so uncomfortable and I just couldn't skulk out fast enough.
yeah. So if you have a win-win, let's just look at the positive. If you have a win-win situation, fantastic. Get them to sign the listing agreement. Sign here, press hard. If not,
You can skulk out.
come from curiosity. Maybe there's some questions that you did not ask. Maybe there's some questions they forgot to ask. And this gives you the opportunity to still kind of dig with some more information. Come from curiosity. Figure out if something needed to be addressed that was not addressed. Okay? It could be a whole slew of things. Step 9, we're going to be on page 70. Negotiate and resolve issues. This could be a couple of different scenarios. They want to work with you, but there is something that is still a hindrance. Maybe you found some open permits in your search. Maybe, good scenario, the last listing that I was able to get, I secured, they already had paid a down payment for the roof to be done, and they didn't know when it was actually going to be taken care of. Little issues like that. Or I actually have to have my brother in Hawaii sign it. You know, he'll do whatever I want him to do, but this, that, and the other. So figure out any kind of unneeded, or not unneeded, hurdles. Yes, thank you. Step 10 is to close. Oh, happy day. Hey, hi. Oh, happy day. Oh, another little story about me back in the day, 2010, 2011 even. I would go through a listing appointment. I would be there for an hour, hour and a half. I'd thank them for their time and I would leave
Now they get 15 minutes.
because I did not ask for the business. You know, there are some agents out there that the simplest thing, they just don't ask for the business. Okay, are you ready to sign with me today and put me to work? Ask for the close, you deserve it. Right?
That's very important.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then if for some reason there's still something there, see if it can still be addressed. You're gonna go back to step 8, step 9, step 7, objection handlers, you know. All these things, you're not necessarily gonna go 1 through 10 every single time. You're gonna go here and there, and they're gonna be all over the place, but what it is your job to do is to try to guide the seller how you really want them to be guided. So anyway, sound good? All right, so what did we learn today?
Ask for the business.
That's for the business. All
Give
right.
them the business. Oh, wait, no. That's another.
So we, soon the close. So the 5 steps in preparing for a listing consultation is know your scripts. You want to know your inventory, days on market. You want to know what the communication techniques are so you can build rapport with your seller. You want to be a consultant, not just an agent. And then you want to prepare your toolkit, correct? And then the 10-step model that will get you to have the seller want to work with you at the end of the listing consultation. Any ahas?
Don't forget to put them in your database.
Well, yeah.
Keep them in there.
That's actually lead conversion,
Yeah.
the step 1 of this whole 7-step series. That we're actually, I'm not sure if David was not in the room or maybe Jim was not in the room, but you weren't in the room. What I'd like to try to do is, you know, break apart this 7-step model because it is an 8-hour class. Maybe we can figure out follow-up negotiations. So actually in your packet, let me see if you have
Consultation.
page 54. It has the seller service cycle. Right in the very front. So I think that what we'll try to do is maybe our next class, we can do servicing and marketing and then offers and negotiations. And then maybe a 3rd class, contract to close, and then post-close systems, maybe. I have to see if the higher ups are okay with that.
The higher ups.
But
Just calling you guys now.
so, any ahas? You know, anything that maybe you did not implement before that you're looking to implement now?
This is really important. If it's just able to flow, like I do it, but I realize how I sound kind of stunted. And the way that you're just able to add everything away, it's just so script practice. Yes.
be prepared, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you like Mandy say that earlier this week? Be prepared.
This is good. It's all new set of objections for me. I was in sales, but completely different objections we used to get, right? So, yeah, learning.
I have to bring notes because I have little blocks. I'll forget like
Yeah.
where I'm at and then I'll like, oh, I draw a blank.
That's what this form, that you
Yeah.
passed out, I mean, you know, having a supply of these.
Yep.
Next to your phone or with you, I use it, and even if if you're on the phone, call with somebody, make the appointment.
My
Take
biggest
this
thing
with
is
you,
this.
illustrate presentation.
I have the gift of gab, but this, I will get a blank unless I have that.
Right, so, you know, take this with you, I'm sorry.
Is that this?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And take it with you on your listening appointment, it'll help you control the conversation
Mhm.
better.
I go back to their motivation quite a few times, whether I'm on the phone, because there are some sellers where they're just not here. Whether I'm on the phone or in front of them, I keep on going back to motivation. Remind me again why I know. And they probably heard me ask it a couple of times, but remind me again why you're moving again. You've got those 3 kids, college, you wouldn't tell me how old they are, but, and you want a place where they can come stay but not stay.
It's even more important, like if you're talking to the husband or the wife on the phone, and then you go to the appointment and they're both there, you wanna make sure they're both on the same
Same
page.
page.
Yeah,
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 sometimes they're not.
that's always fun.
yeah.
You know, one thing I love about new agents, and I always mention it, is you have an awesome opportunity right now. You know, we're in the process of going from our customer relationship management system, which is our database that we use, to Command, and just trying to filter out through all of our stuff. You know, you have an opportunity just to start fresh and actually see what the level of motivation is, whether they're going to be a buyer, whether they're going to be someone that's immediate, 6 months down the road, a year down the road. And then I love being able to something because I love saying, you know what, because I'm so new, I've got a fire in my belly. I don't know the answer to that, but I have so many wonderful seasoned agents that are here to help me. I'll bring them along with that listing consultation. So can I come at 3 or 4? Amanda can come. Or whatever.
So in situations where you're at a home and you have both husband and wife there,
Mhm.
spouse, significant other, and you're having this discussion, and one person seems to be having this interaction with one person, the person is really silent. You want to bring that person
Oh, sure.
in and also ask
Yeah.
them, what are your thoughts? What
Absolutely.
questions do you have?
Yeah, absolutely.
That way you can ascertain whether or not they're on the same page.
Yeah, and so
in that
you
situation.
don't want to sit at the head of the table and have them on 2 sides.
Yeah.
You want to be kind of like, you know, you're the husband and wife, and I want you
Lost
both
one, yeah.
together so I can,
Yeah.
you know, go back and forth.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've had situations where one person just is the quiet one, and they'll, whatever they want.
Yeah.
Most people
But you
just
need
think,
to ascertain that person.
need
It's not-
to-
Yeah.
right,
What
right.
do you do if you, can't get the listing at the first appointment, and they are gonna interview other agents? What do you leave behind?
So my pre-listing packet, I'm so sorry. I might have a copy in my car. I know I have a copy in my car, but, so yeah, it's a red folder that, it's bound. One thing that Brett and I have noticed when we used to go on listing appointments together, that red is just huge, a huge visual. So I leave that behind. I always leave a folder that has the listing agreement in there. You know, Mr. Seller, you know, here's what we're going to be signing later. Everything that I bring with my toolkit, the quick CMA. I do a quick CMA and then I do a cloud CMA. Because one person, let's just say there is a husband and a wife, one person might just want to know the figures down and dirty. The other person might want to know every single little thing. And I always make a joke out of it. You know, when you don't have anything better to do, you know, take a look at it. And they're normally like 30 pages long.
You leave that behind.
I leave it behind.
When I first started, our book was, don't leave like your CMA behind, because if another agent does come in behind you, he's gonna try to use that against you.
I can see that, and I have lost business to other agents for whatever reason. You know, there's some times where I just haven't felt on my game, and I know I've lost a listing consultation because I just had a bad day, or I just didn't connect with the seller. But I have gotten more people that have actually come back to me saying, I'm so sorry, I should have used you back in the day, and I've given that person a chance. When I'm talking to somebody, like it's over the phone, I don't send them everything like I used to via email anymore. I used to send them the Matterport tour that we have. I used to send them my pre-listing packet, the files, all that stuff. I don't do that now because I want to keep them in curiosity. Here's a little bit of information, and then when I sit down with you, I'll bring everything your way. It's just kind of worked for me. It's just personal preference to leave all that stuff behind. I haven't had to do it an awful lot though.
That's what I was gonna ask. So do you guys want to go through, just take a look at a listing,
Yes.
listing
Agreement?
agreement? Sure, just talk about that a little bit. Okay, hold on.
So no ahas?
You,
It was good.
no, you're not hot. It's just,
Awesome.
you got your, you do so well on your script.
I did want to just remind you guys,
Thank you.
another thing that should be in your toolbox, everybody warranty and sellers. And the easy thing to do is just about, you're going to submit it to the warranty company. But in order for E&O coverage to keep our deductible at $2,500 instead of $5,000, we have to be able to show that we offer this to them. And it should be every buyer and seller. So it should be in your buyer consultation package and get your seller, listing package.
Like KW Disclosure talks about the home warranty. Did I get signed?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess want you guys to start using them on a regular basis. That's what you're talking about, right? Yes. So that's new. It's still kind of, you guys have any suggestions?
Where is this? Where do I find this?
Let me check with Brad.
It should be in DocuSign in the
Yeah.
Forms
It should
library.
be in there somewhere.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Before you leave, can I ask for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, can you all get your cell phones out real quick? Before you go through? Please. And pull up your Kelly app. Please tell me you got your Kelly app. You don't have your Kelly app?
He doesn't have his license. He's
Oh, that's no.
in the school yet.
Darn. Okay, I will get you once you get your license.
What's the URL? Is it on the App Store or where do I get it?
It is on the App Store.
Okay.
No.
What are we doing?
A course eval
Okay.
for me. So
All
go
right.
to Kelly and then, ask Kelly, just put in KWU evaluation. And it should have a link. You could actually go through on a website directly. I really appreciate
And what is
it.
the color with KW?
www.kwueval.com.
Okay, it comes up, event type, market center.
Yeah. It is a market center event,
Name of course.
win with sellers.
Where are we going for that?
KW eval, well, go to Kelly first.
KWU eval. You wait here, right?
At the bottom, are we adding your name?
Yep. Okay, hold on, you're going ahead.
Oh, sorry.
My Kelly app screwed up. I cannot.
Go to www.kwueval.com.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sure.
It'll take you to Survey Monkey. I'll send you the link. So it's a market center course. It's win with sellers. The instructor name, when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it says course not drop down. Instructor name, it has add.
What's the course name?
Win with sellers. It's at the very bottom. Almost.
Okay. Sellers. Got it.
And instructor not in drop down. We haven't gotten there yet. Be technically in and then rate me, please. I would very much appreciate it.
Mm,
What's your name?
So you're not in here?
Yep. Drop down. Yeah, instructor not. And type my name the end of Bishop. And then the floor is yours. Well, I'll probably interject a little bit. It's one of my favorite forms.
So, yeah, because it's how to build a business, right?
Yeah.
Not just, running around buyers all the time. So that's, I think we talked about that. Talk about it all the time, right? Because it's the best way to leverage yourself. So this is the listing, this is the transaction broker listing agreement. That's what we recommend you, everybody's presumed to be a transaction broker. Conversation about that before you go ahead and do that, because what that does, it makes everybody a single agent. And then there's certain things, hoops we have to jump through if one of our agents has a buyer that wants to show that house. So this just, and everybody's presumed to be a transaction broker, so it's not like you're doing anything much different than what everybody else is doing.
This is a Florida thing, right? Like Coldwell Banker agents do this. This is not just on our agents.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
like, frac stuff, so yeah. So, when you guys, when we've done this class before, you guys know when you are looking to prepare this document, one of the things you should be doing, like Amanda said, you should be going to the CC appraiser. Whatever county you're working in, there's going to be an appraiser and they're going to have a website. So you want to go to that website and pull up the property, right? And have that property parcel data sheet in your
The last one. We can't pull up your